Hey everyone, super excited to film this weekend review because again we have a special episode. We're in Amsterdam. We just finished with the World AI Summit. Very busy 2 days. We're all very tired, but as always, we're here to bring you the latest news, what happened at the conference, and so on and so forth. So guys, I think I'm gonna start with you, Marco.
Sure.
Because you're our head of AI. So I'm really curious what interesting projects you came across at the conference. Are there any developments worth mentioning when it comes to the AI space? I don't know, what's your take on the whole conference? How did you find it?
Sure. I mean, obviously, it was a very different conference for us. So we are used to crypto conferences, to fun conferences, lots of merch, lots of hoodies. This time it was a bit more serious, but I did like it because it was actually business talks. Like, it's products that are finished. There's no talking about vision, MVPs. It's just like, hey, can we actually do something together? Interesting projects. I mean, there was like one decentralized project, which is Nosana. They do decentralized compute provisioning or aggregation. It was interesting. I met a couple of projects doing like decentralized data labeling, which obviously has a very cool use case for payments in crypto. So that's definitely something we will explore a bit afterwards. I was a bit surprised how much governance, compliance, safety talks there were. Like if you check the main stage schedule, it was like, I don't know, it felt like to me 80% safety. How do we regulate this? How do we make sure AI doesn't kill us? But still there wasn't this doomer feeling, which was nice.
Yeah. And honestly, if you think about it, like the more talks about regulations and laws and everything, means the whole industry is really moving forward, and it's come to a place where you need to start thinking about these things. And
yeah, exactly. I feel like everyone really feels the impact. I mean, currently we use ChatGPTs and the competitors, but still it's so close to have LLM agents do all kinds of stuff for us autonomously, and then it gets a bit sketchy.
Yeah, remember a year ago we were just messing around with chatbots and giving it different prompts and expecting different results. So, okay, so I know we never mentioned this because we can't mention it.
If I can just add one thing that was very interesting to me was I stumbled upon a talk. I think it was by somebody from Autodesk, right? And they were talking about architecture, AI assisted. Architectural design, all that. And I think the conclusion was that AI is not here to replace us, but to help us, right? And we'll make sure that, AI doesn't replace us. And that was, for me, a slightly weird take because why wouldn't you want to maximize, the AI's capabilities? And I'm on that side of the street where I think that AI will surpass us fairly quickly, and I think people will need to adapt and basically utilize AI for their own good, right? And we shouldn't be looking at throttling AI, but so it doesn't replace us, but really let it loose in a way that we can still potentially have some control of it, but get the most potential out of it, right? And this, I think, was a funny take. And I think the whole conference was trying to put the whole thing in a box, right? With all the regulation and trying to keep everything, the frames that we kind of understand and know. And I think here, hopefully, we can go a little bit outside of the box. Maybe not in the more traditional space, but at least in the sector that we're working in, where you can really explore the potential that the thing has, right? So that was a funny take for me, right? Also, I would say the median age of all the speakers and it was slightly higher than usual, right? So I think even the understanding of technology and all that is different from their perspective and our perspective.
Honestly, like spending time at the booth, going around and talking to projects, I think it's very different compared to Web3 conferences. And we've been accustomed to a space like we've been in blockchain for so many years in crypto. It's weird to see people that are skeptical when you tell them about blockchain. Like there's still this stigmata around the whole space. They associate us with bad actors.
Yes.
Some of them some don't even know how that. But I mean, the ones who associate blockchain with bad actors usually don't understand how the
Yes.
technology works and what we're trying to achieve. But I was also happy to see that a lot of people were interested in decentralized compute and decentralized AI, and so I think we've. I don't know if it sounds too pompous, but I think we've opened a few minds at this conference, and
Yeah, I didn't get much pushback. I feel like everyone was interested in decentralized AI, understanding like, hey, what does it actually mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of your pitch too, like explaining people, hey, this is actually something that's happening, but it's happening a bit in parallel to your industry. For you, it's easy because you do have GPUs, you have access to all the tools, you
Exactly.
have AI researchers or engineers in your company, but many do not. And for them, decentralized AI is a very cool tool. So I had some cool discussions here, but it's just still not very tangible for them, especially like, how do I interact with this parallel world?
Yeah, but like you saw, the many of the projects were smaller projects and trying to apply AI to specific enterprises and industries and focus more on SLMs instead of LLMs and stuff that needs less compute power. And
Yeah, I mean, I would say crypto XAI is in a similar situation where I guess DeFi was in 2020 and stuff like that, right? So it's still figuring out the Legos, you know, how it all fits together, you know, from the tech that we're building to decentralized compute, you know, to other layers, you know, that are needed here from, you know, user data, access to that data, all of that. So I would say, yeah, as Marcus said, it's not that tangible yet. As you know, maybe DeFi wasn't that tangible, you know, back in the day, right? But if you look at it now, you know, you have yield, you know, across many chains, optimizations, lending, borrowing, all that. This, I think, it's a very good counterparty to the, you know, traditional finance options. So I would say we're slow, we're a little bit behind, you know, but we are trying to catch up, and hopefully, as you said, these smaller entities will be attracted to participate more in this decentralized options, because the big boys are steamrolling it ahead with their GPUs, with their talent, with their data availability, right? So it's it's going to be a tough fight, but I think it's a good fight to you know, take on, and hopefully we can succeed, at least in some portion,
I'm sure we will. And I know, like, our main target wasn't to. I mean, we weren't expecting to, I don't know, come out of this with 20 partnerships, but more to raise awareness and understand how the Web2 part of this space works. And are there any potential? Like, did you get any leads that could maybe point somewhere in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I said is decentralized data labeling project. It's a Web2 project. They have an app, but they're like, hey, yes, we do need payments for these labelers, and those payments are not going to be done via bank accounts or even like Stripe. Even though I see the Stripe was now pushing lots more the USDC integration, like PayPal has their own USDC or PYUSD. So it might even be possible with something standard like Stripe. But still, they were looking into like a blockchain to build this on. So it's definitely something that we will continue. And I had lots of projects being interested in how to do like training on private data, how to utilize the data. Because there were like, it was like a mix of people there, like lots of AI projects, but also lots of corporates that want to utilize AI. And their biggest concern was actually like data privacy. Like, I have a board of directors, they're rather strict. It's an old school business, for example, construction. So I have this data and I want to utilize it, but I can't have everything on premise because I also don't have the hardware resources. I don't want to buy everything from scratch. So I'm looking for tools to do like compute on this encrypted data, etc. So it's also something we want to continue talking about.
Nice.
For me, one interesting insight was when I was speaking to, you know, a few, let's say, enterprise service providers, right? And we were talking about, you know, potential of blockchain and how it can be integrated. And they also said, right, they were even 2 years back, you know, they were looking at, you know, connecting a few hospitals, you know, and have data sharing there. And it was interesting to see that even they said the development cycles, you know, or very long, and breaking those data silos is very hard. So they were working on a project for 2 years, connecting a swarm of hospitals in Germany, and after 2 years they didn't have anything to show for it. So still, even for an enterprise project, it's quite difficult for enterprise company or enterprise service provider, in the traditional space. It's also very difficult to break through into the traditional space and utilize these decentralized options. So here I'm very happy, that Delta DAO is working on that. They are really good in this space and they're progressing very well. So I can see, the angle that they are attacking, that they took the right approach, right, to the GaiaX initiative, and seeking out the companies that are willing to try this out, and hopefully that expands, and we see through that a lot more enterprise adoption on Oasis as well. Yeah.
I would be very happy to see that.
For sure.
Cool. I guess we can wrap things up.
What about Matej's talk?
Sorry?
What about Matej's talk?
We actually did a debrief for that, but we can. We can. Of course, mention it.
Quick comment from my side was when I started, out, I was looking at the crowd and I saw a lot of, open jaws and slightly confused faces. Towards the end, I think they got more clarity on what we're trying to come across with. But yeah, I think it was one of the more, let's say, unique talks that were given in these 2 days, because as Marco said, there was a lot of talk about safety, regulation, then a lot of projects just pitching their own stuff, right? And you can't blame them, right? But again, I think it's important to have these let's say more broader discussions, right? And to open up the topics. A lot of people came to me afterwards with a lot of interest from lawyers, or guys that are working on legal, LLMs, to just there was I think there was somebody from the Lithuanian Innovation Institute as well. So there is interest, but yeah, let's see how things develop. Yeah,
I think positively.
Even directly in your talk, like one of the live questions was very tangible, like, hey, how does decentralized AI help with combating existing bias in current models? Yeah. So people are actually really curious and are looking for solutions to these problems, because as you explained in your pitch, there is bias. Some is kind of intentional, some is based on the data, and there are attempts to improve this with decentralized AI. So people are very interested in this.
I think we can live here happy, knowing that things are not as gloomy.
Oh, it's not all gloomy.
No, it's really not. It's been a satisfying 2 days, but we are tired and we want to have dinner and rest.
Rest up for a little bit.
Yeah.
And,
I'm gonna see you guys next week. Until then, have a great weekend, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.